Hello everyone. Welcome to this special reading that I'm doing for the Autumnal Equinox, which is today, September 22nd of 2018. With the exact point of this is going to be around 9:54 tonight, Eastern Time in the US. And this is really my very favorite point in the year because I so enjoy autumn. Here in the Northeast, of course, it's beautiful. It's like a feast for the eyes. And it is in many places. But here in New England, it's particularly, it's the splendor of it. And it calls us back to that lower chakra system with its reds, its oranges, and its yellows. The green of the heart chakra goes to the side, and we won't see that again until the springtime, when we will be brand new after a period of rest and deep contemplation over the winter. But this fall point, this autumn point, is calling us to not only reflect on, it's known as harvest time, reflect on the harvest that we have seen in this very productive spring and summer season that is really the most productive parts of the year for us. And again, it's when that green energy is full out. We are just blossoming, and the sun and the heat is radiating. And now we're going into a more cozy time. It's a time when we're in our homes more often, and it's a time of enjoying those warm, comforting foods, of fires in the fireplace, of, making the hot chocolate on the stove, or having warm, hot cider. It's just a more cozy time of year. And again, we shift into that lower chakra system at this time, versus the upper chakra system is really invigorated during the times of the spring and the summer. And it's more this outward inspiration and always expanding more and more. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of growing and doing. And then the winter is that very transitional point. It doesn't really belong anywhere within the chakra system. It's all of it together. And it's like a resetting time for all of it. And I want to encourage you to look at winter, no matter what that physically looks like in your setting, but as a time of reset, something we can really look forward to instead of dreading it, and instead of getting caught up in the weather and, oh, I'm tired of the snow and the ice, or I'm tired of being stuck inside. Or it's a very necessary reset period when our options are less. Our options for going and doing are far less at those times. And so really we're kind of forced into this very necessary period of reset during winter. So I bring that up because fall, this autumnal equinox, is this wonderful time of exploring that lower chakra system. And what I mean by that is the red, that root chakra, is that base, our surging energy that really drives everything in our world. It's our basic need for survival. And so it drives us, and it's also where we can have a lot of fear there. So we may be facing some fears in the fall, only to shed light on them and say, I see you, and you can't hide anymore. And once you see it, it's funny that the fear kind of disappears. And then the root, or the sacral chakra, is orange. That is my personal favorite. It's why my logo has orange in it for my business. It's the one the horses tune into the most with humans. And this is our passion. This is our drive and our desire for this life. That's why I'm such a passionate person. People who know me know that when I type messages, I tend to put exclamation points in quite often. And I'm very juiced up when I'm passionate about something, which is easy for me with my business and doing things like this, as well as in my corporate work, as well as with my family, as well as fun times with friends. That exuberance in life, that is your sacral chakra. And of course, that's the sexual energy too. That passion and drive and desire that exists there. And then we have the solar plexus. And this is the center that I feel is getting a major reset across the planet at this time. It's yellow. And it is our courage. It is our sense of self-worth and self-esteem. And we're seeing a lot of things in the news that are causing us to reflect on our own sense of standing up and being who we are unapologetically, and shining a light on any areas where perhaps there has been pushed down expression of some sort, and that we can't fully be within ourselves and be who we are, that we have to sort of cover things up, or it's not appropriate to talk about that, or what have you. That solar plexus, that just wants you to be real and true and strong. It's the area of strength for us all, and it is the midpoint in the body physically. And so it's why, I see a lot of people who are struggling with sort of digestive issues of one sort or another. And that solar plexus is waking you up to say, hey, I want your attention. You need to fully embody this. It's time. There's no more shoving down. There's no more pushing away. There's no more like staying in the box. All of that is getting challenged. So that's sort of the lower chakra system that I feel we explore during the fall season. And it's why I love it so much, because we get that in tune, and then we have the winter to kind of be a balancing point between the upper and lower chakra systems, and then we get the spring and the summer to really work on the upper chakra systems and creatively expressing ourselves. Not that we don't use our whole chakra system throughout the year. I'm saying these are the times of fine-tuning of those parts of the chakra system. Okay? So, with all that said, our symbol that I dowsed for, it came up as Aquarius 23. Now in numerological values, 2 plus 3 is 5, and that is freedom. That's that energy too of the orange, of that sacral chakra. Your desires, your passion, your inspiration. It is calling your name as this equinox comes up. More. It wants more. It wants expansion for you, because that is what floats you higher. Higher and higher. And where you see, as I like to say, you see the blue skies. No matter what the weather may be. No matter what weathers are moving their way through your life. You know that that blue sky is there. That inspiration, that joy, that sense of passion and drive, desire, all those words, that's very, very important, particularly as we move into the winter. Because again, remember, that sort of is a hibernation period, which is very appropriate for our symbol of Aquarius 23. A big bear sitting down and waving all its paws. And this is just like that bear energy is saying, hey, hey, hey. Like you cannot pass go without coming on in for some introspection. That is what bear energy really equates to. It is a time of going into what the great elders, our ancestors, knew as the dream lodge. It's going in the cave. It's going into that hibernation period, and taking the time for the introspection. I mean, don't you just love the thought of entering the dream lodge? And this is, in the shamanic practices, which I've really begun delving into. And I saw the bear last night as I was doing some mirror work, which is part of shamanism. The bear, you know, literally that face came up over my own. And I wasn't smoking anything, believe me. It was surreal. And then to see this symbol come up, I'm like, okay, I get it, I hear you. But this sense of entering the dream lodge and the call, the words that came up as I was doing that was the whole point as we enter into this autumnal equinox. You enter the dream lodge. It kind of feels better to me than the cave, because we kind of equate that with, you know, whatever you may. When I say we enter the cave, it can feel dark to some people and kind of primitive, and that can be off-putting, but I like the idea of a dream lodge, and that's the shamanistic practice and of dreaming your life into existence. This is also very much equated to the law of attraction, but it is visualization and usurping meaning from our world. It's like we're literally like slurping up this meaning from what we are seeing mirrored back to us, because we are unique perceptors of our experience, and so we see what's mirrored back, and to take in the meaning of that and to explore without judgment, without saying, oh, that's bad, or I must have done something wrong. That level of judgment doesn't exist in the spiritual. It just simply does not. And so that is the human ego consciousness trying to make sense of it all by saying, oh, that's bad, this is good, that's right, this is wrong. That's how we make sense of things and keep ourselves safe. And I'm not saying to get rid of the ego. Rather, it's more a sense of just taking it in and seeing the gift of what is being mirrored to you. Is that possible? And in the dream lodge, it is. So you're asked to enter with the energy of bear medicine. You're asked to enter into the dream lodge at this time of the equinox in order to, these were the words that came up, research and explore alternate pathways that lead to your goals. That there's always something, a different way coming up to our goals than we think. And so something may have occurred that feels really bad, and we might feel really angry about it, or we might feel like we've, been kind of shoved under the bus or trampled over somehow. And in fact, it's in answer to a larger dream that you have. But certain things have to happen to force us in our ego consciousness to make a move into that bold new tomorrow of whatever that is for you. So the Dream Lodge is a place where I see that visually as kind of a house of mirrors, a lodge of mirrors that are all reflecting back to you through your experiences, like a big storybook. It's as if you're opening a storybook. And I see that this is what happens during life review after we passed. Our life becomes kind of like a big storybook, and we're kind of flipping through the pages, and it's like live movies are playing out as we go. And so it becomes sort of magical to look back on all these things and to see with eyes wide open, without ego consciousness on board. Oh, I see now how that was all connected and how that propelled me on to my next step. You will always be expanding. Always. There is never a time, really, when you are going to remain stagnant. It's simply not the way it is here on Earth. Look at the seasons that I've just been talking about. They come and go year after year after year of our lives. Look at the moon cycles. Look at the tides. Look at weather patterns. Devastating things happen. We rebuild. There's calm for a while. Devastating things happen, we rebuild. I mean, this is the cycle of life. And we live and we die and we live again. And that's even in terms of movements through our life. People come, people go, new people come in. It just keeps going round. And so there's no good or bad to that. It's just not helpful to lay on that judgment. It's more helpful to go into, you could either look at it one of two ways. Get up out of the muck, get into that blue sky frame, and look down or over, however you want to say it, your situation without having your feet in the muck or your hands like deep in the dirt. You're looking from a higher perspective, a more expanded perspective, so you can see the worth of it all. There is gift in it all. That's what I think the bear medicine is calling us to move into introspection. The other way of seeing it is to go into this dream lodge. This sense of like checking into this beautiful lodge. Maybe yours is on a hilltop or a mountaintop somewhere, and you're looking out over mountains, or you're looking out over desert, because it's on the top of like a plateau if it's out in the desert. And you're able to see for so far. You know, you're able to see the winds, you're able to see the rains. You just are able to expand your view. That's what the dream lodge can offer. You know, or maybe your dream lodge is right by the ocean, and you're able to see those tides and remember, oh right, yes, it does go out, but it does come in again too. It's just a cycle. We don't have to lay all the drama over it all the time. Okay? So that's what it's a pretty big feeling to me. Like, this bear energy is clearly very strong right now for all of us, because now I'm called to give this as a message. I got it last night very personally in my own shamanic practice, but then I'm being called to bring it forward for everybody, so I know this is a huge tide, a wave of energy being called, and the bear's sitting there going, hey! So let's enter the dream lodge. Okay, depending on your card, each card will also have a crystal partner to go with it. So I'm gonna put down my things so I can grab what I need to for your readings. Okay, so our first card up is from the Rumi deck. I haven't looked at any of these as usual, and so we have, oh my gosh, Passion of the Wild Red Mother. Ooh, baby. And it's the number 36, which would be a 9 energy, 6, or the 3 plus 6. So this is a culmination point for you. That is also the compassionate humanitarian energy. It's the top, it's the end of the line when it comes to numerological value, okay? So I haven't even looked this up yet, so let's see. I love to read from the guidebook for this because the author, which is Alana Fairchild, she has some wonderful musings on what she was seeing as she did this artwork. So I'm going to read just a portion of this for you. The Rumi passage for Passion of the Wild Red Mother is, don't ask the conscious ones about the wine. Behold the glowing effect of it in the eyes of drunks. Wow. Wow. Okay. That just really took me by surprise there. And what I'm getting right away is sometimes we see the truth when those inhibitions are dropped. I mean, this is the thing with, for instance, alcohol. It lets down those gates, those big walls that we put up. You know, there is the danger, there is the walk in the line, too, of when it becomes an addiction. But part of the beauty of why it's in our society and why I don't feel personally as a messenger that it should be vilified. I don't think anything in our society in our creation should be vilified, because it was created for a reason. It has a reason on this planet. And the beauty that I see of alcohol is that it lowers the inhibition. It allows you to be that wild, red, passionate. Remember, I was talking in the intro about that orange energy. I could just feel that pulsing. Passion, desire, the sense of the wild, which all of you know, that is one of my top 3 words as a messenger that I love. It's why I have wildfire on my license plate. I am call of the wild, because that wild part of us has been stuffed down for so long, because we have to fit in. We have to ride the rails of the Disney ride. You're going to go on a jungle cruise, but I'm going to show you the way you're going to do it. We lose our explorer ability. We lose that adventurer part of us. So this passage from Rumi, which I didn't expect, is just saying, this is an example. This is an analogy. Think about how the truth comes through often when that alcohol there is a chemical reaction with that brings all of those inhibitions, all of those rules. It brings them all down. It suppresses all of those gates that we have built in the walls and the proper behavior, and it loosens everything. And again, I understand there is a line, as with everything in balance. There definitely is a line, that when we overdo it, then we lose the whole purpose of it to begin with, because then we just get into a place of sloppiness and we can't even think straight. So the walls kind of are obliterated at that point, but they lose their effectiveness. So anything done over the edge and too much, no matter what it is, loses its effect then. It's like it all goes away. So this is just an analogy to get us going here with this card. I'm just tuning in to figure out. Yeah, this feels like it wants to come forward, this part. Whatever your nature, there is passion in your heart. A fire for something more powerful than fear that can become the fuel for your life journey. If you accept the invitation of the wild red mother, of course. This is the invitation to lay aside despair, to lay aside doubt in the capacity of the human heart, even your frustration and impatience. It is time to quit whipping yourself and others, no matter how noble the intention behind the whip may be, and start dancing instead. Will you join her, the wild red mother, in her exuberant play? You can choose to lead through joy, to heal through love, to transform suffering into what it is meant to be, the crucible through which ecstasy reveals itself. You do not have to analyze, to stay in the throes of process and ordering stages. You can just choose this passionate path now, if you wish. You are ready. It is open. Will you accept? And I'm recalling here too a book that I'm listening to as I drive to work about ecstatic. I don't know how the author called it, but it reminded me of ecstatic dance, something that I thought, man, maybe sometime I should look into that. But it's this wild, free openness to just allow your body to do whatever movements come as you're listening to this pounding drum beat. Again, think about that energy of the sacral chakra here. Something in you during this invitation into the Dream Lodge is calling forth a pounding desire for something. that it wants to start defining itself, and it wants to start expressing itself, because this wild passion of the wild red mother, honestly, every time I say that phrase, excuse my language here, but I keep wanting to say passion of the wild red motherfucker. It's just like, wow, it's so strong. It's just this pounding, boom, 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 like the bear waving its paws, like, you are not going to pass by. I won't be left out here anymore. You have to listen to me. And it's the greatest part of you. Your crystal partner for this reading is my piece of jade. This is known to me as the elder. It is oriental, sort of Asian in its feel, but it has these specks of gold, and it always speaks to abundance and this inner knowing that is incredibly wise, that keeps being put away because it's not proper. Or that was then and this is now, and I have to flow with how it is now. But if that doesn't feel good to you, or you feel like there is log jam going on, the elder is saying, hey, pay attention. You're trying to push those logs down the stream, and there's a lot blocking the way. Maybe you're not supposed to push them down the stream. Maybe that's not even your stream to begin with. Remember, the invitation with this dream lodge that the bear is inviting you into with this equinox has to do with a sense of finding alternate pathways to your goals. Something is going to change, and it is about your strongest. I mean, look at the energy in this card. Talk about passion, talk about depth, talk about driving desire towards something. I just keep hearing boom, boom, boom. This very deep bass drum just going, like pounding, but not in a driving sort of a way like how masculine energy can be. This is a deeper passion than that. It's a deeper passion than our brain, like, okay, I need to stay focused and I need to keep going and I need to... The brain ain't got nothing to do with this reading. This has to do with lower. Remember, the fall, this time of visiting that lower chakra system is the ancients. It is the elders. It is the sense of simplicity and drive and the importance of leadership and knowing when to step into something because you're so ready for it. And the importance of ceremony and having reverence for things, respect for things, and not about the creating more and more and more. That's in a whole other season. We're not there right now. I'm just inviting you, the bear is inviting you. This Dream Lodge experience is meant to be a time of quiet, is meant to be a time of introspection for you to find, what the hell is this? Because, man, it is strong and it is passionate and not meant to be in a rude way. It's just, this could drive you for the rest of your life so easily. And there is a wisdom to it. That's what the elder brings. There's a deeper wisdom to it that is based in tradition, that is based in honor, that is based in principles, that is of your creating. Because it's alternate pathways. It's not necessarily... I never give messages about stepping in the exact footprints of others, and the bear medicine does not want you to do that either. The point of introspection that this equinox brings, that the Dream Lodge offers in its pamphlets, in its marketing, it says, come and discover your unique being, your unique driving force. That's what wants to come forward. Not that you're going to step in the same footsteps as other people. You got to do it different. You got to do it your way. Okay, that feels complete for that. Wow, that is powerful energy. Woo-wee. Okay. The second card up is from the Magdalene Oracle. And this is, oh boy, the Beloved. Okay, more intensity here, like the first card. And I'm going to say straight up, you have my very favorite crystal of all, which is Labradorite. I love this piece. I got from a dear friend. Labradorite, this is known to me as the reflector and definer, because it is very much like looking at a silvery fish in the water that is swimming along the stream. And as it moves through the water, you see these colors reflected. And as you work energetically with Labradorite, you can light up new colors within the crystal itself, depending on where you're willing to travel to. Again, our travel, our invitation. You've just received a ticket of entrance into the Dream Lodge for this reading for the autumnal equinox, and the bear medicine is right alongside you. It's like you and the bear have holding hands. The bear's not going to hurt you. It's about introspection. It's about, and especially with this crystal, this is about that reflective energy in order to further define. The two work in tandem, and sometimes we're working more on the definition, that is the doing. This is much more about the reflective for this particular reading. It is a time of introspection, reflection on what is taking place in order to reach your goals. I mean, that's what it's all about. That lower chakra system that I spoke of in the intro, that is where we base it on the drives and desires that we have grounded into our human being from creation in the upper chakra system. Then we ground it into that lower chakra system. So that's the manifestation center. Like, this is really happening. We're going to put some steps together and do it. But you have to get clear, and there needs more reflection time, and that's the beauty of the fall. That's where we can really define this and really look closely at our fears. And the Beloved here energy is directly pointing with the colors to the upper chakra system. And so to me, this is that marriage point between, you've done a lot up here, okay? That has to do with the throat chakra, your creativity center, kind of finding your voice and your kind of unique touch on things. Your intuition center, your third eye. And then the crown is sort of that connection to the divine, or some call it Father Sky. It is that inspiration kind of from beyond, from the larger part of you. And so there's been a lot there. But now the call is this marriage, because the Beloved always speaks to me about marriage. It is the marriage into grounding that. Maybe you've had a lot of inspiration. It's time to create, to solidify the plan so that you can take action when you feel the time is right. And for a lot of people, they don't feel ready for that until like the springtime, when everything is growing. That is the time of year when we have the most fresh energy in terms of production, in terms of fertility. But now is the time of, like, we think about planting bulbs in the fall. It is the time for those kind of bigger seeds to be planted, to actually be grounded. This can mean, so I want to put this in more practical terms, this can mean actually speaking of, and maybe even beginning to set up classes or courses or what have you for your own learning, or if you're going to teach or you're going to be part of something, you might be signing up for that or setting that up. But it's time to start speaking about it. It's time to start. That's how we ground. You know, when I decided to do astrology, I started just saying, I'm an astrologer. And guess what? I didn't take all of these courses and blah, 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 blah. I learned the basics and I trusted, and I continue to trust that each chart I look at reveals to me what wants to come forward, first of all, and what that interpretation really is. That isn't anything that I can read in a book or learn from a teacher, because they have their own interpretation, just like I do as a messenger here for you. People would look at this card and think all sorts of things, but I can only look at it through my interpreter glasses that I have on, my own mindset, my own messenger filter. And so I'm giving you that just as an example. Step into it. Be it. This is this concept of marriage that I'm feeling so strongly. You have to take things from just being an idea. We didn't come here on this earth, the great land of creation. We literally can create human beings on this planet. We didn't just come here for a bunch of ideas, like, oh, wouldn't it be fun to create a human being? Oh, I wonder how I would do that, and all these ideas. And you, again, this is brain work. We do this all the time. And we can have insights too. The beauty of the brain with intuition. And this is a, like just having brainstorms, downloads, however you want to say it, having session after session with an intuitive or an astrologer or what have you, and you're getting all this information and you're just you're chunking through it. Your brain and your own intuition are trying to make sense of all that. Like, I just want to make sense of it. I want to have meaning. I want to have an answer. But this is the time, as we enter this, the Dream Lodge experience for you is about enough. How do I take that? I know what I want. I know what I've created as a vision for myself, a vision quest, if you will. Enough. How do I ground it? How do I make it happen? We came here to make things happen. So it's the marriage of the inspiration that I feel so strongly in the colors of this card. You're ready to marry that with the power that is the lower chakra system. I think the lower chakra system gets a bad rap. It's like, oh, that's so antiquated. Bull. We need it. We have to have it. It's not about letting go of that. It's not about letting go of your ego. No, this is the whole package. It's all of you. It's like having a rainbow and we only want blue, light blue, darker blue, and purple. That's all we want to see. No, we have to see all of it. And all of it is that lower chakra system. That is how we manifest things. That is how we make it happen. So it's time. But this, in the Dream Lodge, this is the time where you can be reflective and you can make those solid plans. But you can also, meanwhile, start defining. You can start saying. You can start doing in some aspect, even if it's in your own mind. I am blank. I am studying blank. I have X in my bank account. I hate to relate it to material things, because this energy that Bear Medicine is calling you towards is bigger than that. Money is a side effect. It's like that's icing on the cake. You know that if you're doing what you love to do, whatever that is in your life, when you're doing what you love to do, it almost doesn't matter about the money. Money's nice and it makes things easier. But when you're in the zone, oh my gosh, time just passes by. And that zone is calling to you. It wants to be defined. It wants to be named. It wants to be explored. And so as much as this is an time of introspection at the time of autumnal equinox, kicking off the autumn season, remember, we're engaging with the lower chakra system so that we can harvest. And so though it isn't that potent doing like we have in the spring and the summer, it still is a sense of doing, in the sense that we are grounding in what has just been a fabricated, dreamed, inspirational idea. And we are really making it come true. We are really bringing it into form. That is the greatest power that we have as human beings on this earth. The power of that, the ability of the upper chakra system, which includes your amazing human brain in being able to make connections mentally with the power of inspiration and intuition, and receiving signals and receiving messages of different sorts and putting those pieces together. The real power is when you join it with that lower chakra system. You're ready for that. You want to ground the idea. Okay, that feels complete. All right, the final card is from the Way of the Horse deck. And for this, I always reference the write-ups because I just enjoy what the author, Linda Kohanov, what she offers on this. Okay, so we have 17. Here's the artwork. And I believe I remember what this says, but I'm going to look it up and we're going to read it fresh together here. So 17, that is the energy of the 8. Okay, infinity. And trying to find the balance again. It comes after 7, which is a new truth being revealed, a deeper sense of wisdom being revealed. And then we have 8, trying to make sense of it, trying to take that new truth and to begin to put it into practice, and to begin to find our steady again. How can we be steady on our feet? This card is known as depression. Stay with me, okay? Not always, these readings aren't always like light and jolly, but let's see how this comes through. Here are the keynotes for this card. Ingenious stagnation, stop sign of the soul, workhorse mentality. A loyal old draft horse pulls his heavy load through a relentless gray fog. The gift is depression signals that the path you are taking doesn't coincide with your life's purpose. Look for a new direction that gives you energy, and you'll get back on course. The challenge is, it's difficult to change old patterns, particularly if you're supported by social conditioning and family expectations. Resist the pressure to become a workhorse for others' mundane ambitions. And I really feel with this, as I'm reading this, the dream lodge that's indicated, you've got the invitation into the dream lodge. You're bringing in the bear medicine with you. That is the power of introspection, of knowing this wisdom, of knowing this place that you have come to. I was really struck by this phrase, ingenious stagnation. And it's where I'm really wanting to say to you, please stop beating up on yourself. Please stop looking at yourself as the workhorse. And then I messed that up again. Or, I wish I could just get off my butt and start doing something. Or I wish I could get out of this pattern. I just want to hug you right now and say, please just The call is to drop that as you enter this magic that is the Dream Lodge experience. And your crystal is the same. This has never happened before, I don't believe. The same crystal I had for the last card. This is my piece of labradorite. This is known to me as the definer and the reflector. And there is power in both for you. You see, it's got these beautiful, it's probably hard to see on camera, this beautiful color that pops out as I move it. And it's like when you look at a fish swimming in a stream and the light catches it just so, and the beautiful colors are revealed as it swishes on through. It's all about perspective. And knowing that your perspective can change on a dime. And maybe you've had something that has happened that has caused you to either go into a stagnation, or what I'm seeing is this just cover me up with a blanket and let me know when it's over. This sense of retracting. And Bear is waving its paws at you. And what did I read here? Stop sign of the soul. As soon as I read that, I saw that bear image of our symbol, the bear, waving all four of its paws, like, "Hey, I'm here to help you." and that's, if I could give you a jolly out of this message, it's that bear energy. Think about the joy we see when we feel safe, in seeing, if you were to see this bear sitting on its behind and waving all four of its paws. That four energy is about stability. That is about him inviting you back, him or her, however you see that bear, inviting you back to your stability. It has been a time of upset. It has been a time of like, I don't know where I'm going. What am I doing? That's what I get out of this. It does feel like mist. It feels gray. So probably when I talk to you about blue sky moments, you're like, right, Kat, go paddle up a stream. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I can feel that, sort of like, how can I see the blue sky? There is mist and fog and lack of clarity everywhere I look. That's what I feel, is this heaviness. And the bear energy is just wanting to invite you to go into that dream lodge. It is a safe place to be over this time of the fall, the beautiful exploration that we can do in those lower chakras, because something within you down in that area has gotten rocked big time. There is a sense of like lack of stability, some fear mentality, and sort of just not trusting perhaps other people, perhaps yourself, perhaps your path. But then there's this gift message of look for a new direction that gives you energy and you'll get back on course. It's about reconnecting when you're in the dream lodge. The bear energy, this reflector definer energy, is calling you to invite in a new perspective. I feel the winds have been blowing this whole reading, but I really feel them right now because it's this winds of change and not feeling the fear in the change. The change was necessary to get you out of a place of stagnation, to get you out into a time of creation again. Because actually that's our natural mode as human beings on this planet. It is actually more natural for us to be creating and be inspired. However, it is part of the process. I'm very drawn lately to this concept of the wheel. And I think of it as the wheel of fortune in the tarot. All steps within the wheel, within the cycle, have blessings. They are all your fortune. And so I don't want you to feel alone. Lord knows I have been in this place so many times, and what I can only reflect on right now is the fact that those cycles seem to pass more quickly. Is the cycle comes down and it is dark for a while and it's unknown and there's fear and there's some anxiety and there might be resentment, and then out of that I'm able to get a new understanding. But what it takes to get there and to fuel that is this sense of introspection, is the sense of getting yourself up out of the muck, is to try to see that blue sky, to try to see your life as being light as a feather, as being able to be blown in the wind, as to be able to have a new perspective, like seeing the fish, like a feather floating in the wind. You can have that perspective change in that fast a period. It can literally just boom, turn on a dime. But that is of your doing, of your choosing. The most powerful words that I still live by. I don't always practice it well, but the words that changed my life were when I said to myself, my inner knowing said this, not my brain knowing, that ancestral part within all of us said to me, everything is a choice, Kat. You aren't stuck in this. You can always make a choice. And yes, there are consequences, but sometimes the consequences are worth it. And I just feel this sense, like maybe you feel like these circumstances have been put upon you, and now I'm in this situation, or I feel like I'm stuck. I feel like I'm trapped. Oh no, the bear is sitting there with the all four paws, offering you a greater sense of stability, but that stability can only be found within you. And see, I'm speeding up. There's tremendous energy when you tune into this, when you look at those questions of, but what is my sense of stability? And by the way, not only stability, but what gives me driving passion and fire in my day and inspiration? That is the lower chakra system. We must have that in order to be a whole being on this planet. We can't just live in the upper chakra world, talk about la la land. It's lovely up here. I tried that for a while. That didn't work. I needed to go back to corporate work. I couldn't just do this because I was like, woo! I'm way up in this dream world all the time. And there's no grounding of doing something really solid and productive and contributing and being part of a team, being part of something. It's a very lonely world up here. It's lovely, and it's inspired from on high. But man, it can be lonely. And I feel like this stability is you getting down into that, because a lot of the colors here are from the upper chakra system. And it's part of why this mental fog is coming in, because there's help offered through grounding, through, again, I keep being shown the four paws of the bear. So this stability comes. You got to ground it, baby. You got to start being part of something. You got to find your tribe. You got to find your passion. And know that that's what breaks you out of the stagnation, the lack of clarity, the lack of feeling stuck. Who are your people? What is your thing? The Dream Lodge, that reflective, introspective activity over the fall, and then intensifying in the winter to balance it all, can be kind of your saving grace in this. Use it to your full advantage, because the ticket is right here. That's the bear energy, this Sabian symbol we have, and this idea of the Dream Lodge is calling to you. It's your invitation alone. And just to get back to a sense of stability. And that could for some of you mean like financially and physically, But for some of you, it could even just be like finding your fire again. Finding your, and by that, what I mean is your passion, your people. I keep being shown a tribe, you know, like people around a fire together. Who are your people? Where are they? Do they speak your language? Do you speak their language? Do you want to speak their language? Are you with people who are part of that tribe, or are you ready to move on to something else? It's like that stoking up that fire again, like to get that wild part of you going, because we need both again. We need that lower chakra system too. We can't leave it behind. Because when we leave it behind, that is when things like fear, anxiety, resentment, sadness, depression, those all result, those really low vibe things result because we've left that whole part of the chakra system behind. We start having problems with our stomach, our digestive system, start having problems in the lower back particularly, and you know, sexually feel totally off our game, having just nothing going on there, no desire, no passion, no drive, no interest. It's just like, it's all hands off. There's nothing grounding. And that's not balance. You have to ground. And it's calling to you to ground. To be, and by what I mean by ground is to be a part of something. To find that spirit that makes you feel alive. That makes you feel like you're part of something, that you're contributing. And that in itself gives you this stability that the bear medicine keeps pointing out to me for your reading. Okay, everybody. Enjoy this autumn and this launch of the equinox. It's a powerful time. The bear is with you all fall. The Dream Lodge doors are wide open, ready for your arrival. So let's go about our process of introspection and reflection in order to further define where we're looking to go as we enter into the fresh season of spring down the line. And we'll be able, out of this fall season, we'll be able to then further bring our ideas and define and balance between the upper and lower chakra systems and get cozy with those ideas so we can really begin implementing them in a really powerful, forceful way as the regenerative spring comes along. Have a wonderful time at the Dream Lodge. I will see you there. Bye-bye for now.